Yeah, I read your article.
Okay. Oh, let me go to the chat.
So on my way back, I got cut off by some asshole with a coexistence bumper sticker.
Hey, we should all coexist in this world, except I'm the most important.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those really gay ass fucking coexist stickers made out of those, like, all the religions of the world make up the symbols, make up the letters of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the epitome of virtue signaling.
Oh, it's like,
it's basically putting "I'm a pretentious douche" on the back of your car for everyone to just know.
It gets better, dude. It gets better. It was a Prius.
I was thinking that, like, yeah.
You know,
it's like you.
It's disappointing, but it's not surprising.
You couldn't be much more of a stereotypical fucking cock gobbler unless you had fucking a hammer and sickle on there.
Was it drive by Brian Griffin?
Yes, a cartoon dog. But seriously, right, fuck that bumper sticker.
Let's see. Yeah. Let there be light.
I almost wish that was actually part of the proper episode. That was funny.
Okay.
You looked way too enthused when you did that.
All right. Do we have stuff that we watched? Because
a little bit, but not enough to probably go into it too much.
I have a little bit.
I have a thing I received in the mail.
Okay, well, you go first.
All right. Okay. Ready on my end. Everything else is ready.
Check.
Everything looks
checks mix.
Good. That way a bit. See if it. No, that actually makes it worse. Okay, good. Wait a second.
Wait a second.
I need some water.
I got my water right here. Dasani.
Oh, I can top that. I got one called Ice Mountain. Fucking Ice Mountain.
All right. As long as it's not Fiji.
No, it's not.
Fiji water is fucking disgusting.
I don't know. I think that's the infamous chunks of fat in the water, you know, like bit that Lewis Black said.
No, that would make it taste better.
Yeah. Well, he did say it's like, well, that implies that somewhere out there's water with chunks of fat in it. And I got to find that because that's the tasty water. Personally, I don't think it'd be tasty per se, but... let's see here. Let me open up Twatter here. Don't forget to pop the link in the Discord.
Just did that right now.
All right.
Great minds think similarly. Okay.
That's like that bad joke. That's like that bad joke I used to have of the Family Guy opening theme. Like if you altered it, just so it'd be like, fortunate there's a filial dude. You know, something stupid like that. If only remember we were having that thing about the fucking Navy. Remember we were talking about naval things, just like if there were only some kind of military operations that would occur on the ocean, a navy, if you will. Yeah.
All right, let's start.
Yeah.
In 3. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm K Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And I have a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you hear me,
like half the time you're either sick or injured.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, I don't know what. I think it's because we do these things every 2 weeks, and there's 14 days for something fucked up to happen.
Oh yeah, that has 14 days for whatever forces really want NTR Radio to not exist anymore to hit you
faster
with something.
It's the
Like,
Either
the NTR virus.
that's probably a totally different thing. No, but seriously, if I sound a little congested or stuffy, clearly I've been doing cocaine. No.
naturally.
Somebody had to make the joke. One of you would have if I'd have been sniffling. So,
Oh, of course.
yeah, there you go. Anyway,
So first
We're
things
back.
first, I got something. I got something in the mail.
okay, this is gonna be good. Okay.
So SkyTube came out with this figure based on the cover image to Saitam's Let's Do It, a hentai manga.
Oh,
I've seen that figure before.
the girl that's the girl that's
Sitting on the desk.
Yes.
It's cast off, right?
It's
Yeah.
cast off. You can replace
Very nice.
the chest piece.
Were you just like service that, or did you just?
Well, no,
pay for it?
I bought it, but because I sell anime figures. I'm the anime figure merchant. I bought it wholesale, so that one's mine. I sent one out to someone who pre-ordered it. That was last week, and I have one for my inventory.
Woot. Yeah, so I always liked the cover of that, and it was actually out of print when we were actually there at Expo earlier this year. That actual.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
How much was it? Or no, I don't know if I should ask or not.
The figure,
Yeah.
I can tell you how much it retails for.
All right, tell me how much it retails for.
$69.99, I think it was.
And it's what ain't scale, right? No, it's
1/7.
1/7. All right. I always find 1/7 a weird scale because it's like.
It's like when you have those really strange shoe sizes that you can never fucking find, and unfortunately, I have one.
Because I'm used to.
For all the people out there, I have an 11.5 foot. Yes. So basically 0.5 away from an actual foot. But seriously, that is an annoyingly difficult, because the thing is, you'll find a shoe you like, but then it won't be in your size. It'll go straight from like 10, 11, 12. There's the halves. They're just like, nope.
I'm like a 10. So.
Yeah, I'm a 10.
Yeah. I got pretty big.
I'm with you though, VZ. There's some just weird figure scales out there. Because have you ever seen like pictures of that one Kirino figure? It's like 1/2.5 scale.
That's bizarre.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Number one, so $400 something anime figure.
Yeah, there was a time when there were a whole bunch of companies were releasing the half scale of Catalia from Queen's Blade.
Queen's Blade. I can only imagine how heavy that figure must be.
I think one of them was like hollow because one of them like broke during one of the Japan earthquakes. And
Well,
so,
it has to be hollow at that volume. It's got to be hollow. Otherwise, you can't pick it up like at all.
I just got this funny visual of people trying to move a figure, like when they're taking like the statues off of the fucking like U-Haul trucks type thing, where they're trying to like they're dragging it and shit.
Teamsters just trying to two-man lift this giant anime figure.
Yeah, that weighs more than either of them do combined.
Well, because I read an article on Crunchyroll about this one dude, like the one dude who just dropped like $20,000 on a 1/1 scale Megumi Kato from Saikano.
Okay.
And number one, the dude lived in a fucking mansion full of anime figures.
Yeah.
Number two,
clearly,
you got to imagine the dudes who transported that thing from the truck. Either that or realistically, what's probably more likely is
on a dolly.
Well, on a dolly, but equally likely, it might have been just a garage kit sort of thing, where it arrives in a box and you put it together yourself.
Yeah, and then you
have. I don't know.
I don't have one of these.
I'm not the kind of person who has $20,000 to just drop on a giant anime figure.
Someone, ding dong. What's that? What could this be? First you see. Fragile.
It starts playing the 50s music, the dun 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 dun.
You open it up, and it's that 1/1 scale Ayase figure.
See, I can see him opening the.
Well,
I want to see it.
well, no. Here's the thing: it becomes real easy because all you do is just kick it. My foot can reach that high. I have that leverage. Just push it with your foot, and it falls down the stairs.
I just want to see abuse videos, and it was just does everything to it, crowbar.
To be realistic, and I've said this before, I probably couldn't bring myself to do that just because it's an anime figure. It's because I have this weird thing with anime figures. I can't bring myself to bring harm to an actual anime figure.
Yeah.
We should probably mention the chat.
Here's what you do to get involved with the show. You head yourself on over to ntrradio.net, hit the chat link in the upper right, the chat page, give yourself a nickname, hit the button, and join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively, point your favorite IRC client to irc.ryzen.net and join us in the # or # SLC media channel. In addition to that, you can get at us on Twitter at TAnubis, at VZMK2, at Classic_KGods, and at NTR_Radio. And as always, you can email the show at ntrradio@gmail.com.
Speaking of the chat, interesting thing here. That pops out of a cake, the figure, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it like one of those things where you pull the back string and they just spring, like a spring-loaded thing that pops out of the cake? It looks like one of those fucking Buzz Lightyear wings shoot out and they start talking and shit. Okay.
Now I just had this thing in my mind of either Emo or Ero Manga Sensei Happy Meal figures.
Do they call? You know how when you order those kind of meals, they're designated 1, 2, 3. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's or they call it the Happy Meal or whatever. Like you said, are we even allowed to say that?
It's
the Happy Meal.
Yeah.
The dopamine.
What's wrong with Happy Meal?
No, I'm just saying because copyright.
Yeah, it's the dopamine receptor to the brain that proceeds to give pleasurable experience to the muscles of the mouth.
That was a mouthful.
Meal.
No, it's the incest meal.
Literally.
Just be blunt about it. If it's Emo or Eromanga Sensei.
And what would the different each because
No, it comes with a pregnancy test.
Okay.
You know how they come with the little toys or. Okay.
Okay.
I think we just lost. I think we just lost half of our listenership with that.
All right. My idea. I'm not going to cross the line like you just did, but my idea was that it comes with there's a little twister mat, and it comes with each of the little figures of the little characters in a different position, and then you get them all in on the twister mat, and you'll have the twister scene.
Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's better than the pregnancy test.
Oh, come on. You got to admit that actually is pretty amusing. Because if you ever had one of those, and I mean a Happy Meal,
I was about to say.
Come on, man. Yes, the Time Enforcer Anubis pregnancy test.
If you've ever had a pregnancy test, it goes
into the future because you can go and check.
Ba-da-bum-bum, I'm loving it.
Oh no.
Okay, so what have we watched?
Yeah. Okay. I actually did end up seeing that Konosuba OVA. It was okay. Nothing terribly interesting. Just felt like a regular episode, really.
Did the character I showed you, was she in it?
Oh yeah, the one that has the large knockers and is the red eyes, Crimson Mage. Yeah. Which, to be honest, didn't care for her character design very much.
Oh, all right.
This just was kind of plain.
Is that it, or?
Oh, no. Let's see. Besides watching a bunch of dumb documentaries about stuff nobody here is going to care about, well, just being honest.
Depends.
No, you wouldn't. I could tell you right now. Anyhow, no. I was watching about a documentary about golf. No, I wasn't.
It's the documentary about grass growing.
You think I wouldn't be pumped about the golf documentary? The only person here who golfs?
I play miniature golf.
Ditto. Same when I was younger.
No,
everyone plays miniature golf.
I do if I still got the opportunity. You know,
golf.
No, what ends up happening is I go with my friends, and it turns into one of those like Tiger Woods things where they're slamming their clubs down and shit when they're missing.
Maybe they should get good.
Yeah.
I can sink a 30-foot putt. They can't. That's their fault.
Pretty sure if you did that actually at the mini golf thing, that sorry. Okay, moving along. Back to what I was watching. Second gig, Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex, because I got back into that. I really need
to rewatch Ghost in the Shell.
Just finished. I think I'm on episode 19 or 20. I have to look again. I've seen it before, obviously, but this is second gig. I watched the first one. I figured I'd just go all out and watch all of it. Just recently passed the episode where the dumbass wouldn't bang her. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly which episode you're talking about.
Yeah. I think we all said that. Like, really? I don't know. I don't know how serious she was about that anyway, but yeah, so I think it's episode 17 where that happens. Basically, for those who've never seen it, she offers to have sex with this refugee, and he kind of says no. Imminent silence.
It's like that one time in School Days.
Oh, when she offers to take her on the yacht.
Pretty much offering him yacht sex.
And he's like, down. He's like, nah, I'm gonna follow around this stupid twat around here instead.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna hang out with Setsuna Kiora instead.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe he's just into the green hair.
Anyway. I remember I actually did watch something. I finally finished Amagami SS.
Oh, years later.
The first season or the...
Yes, the first season.
Okay, the first season.
I love the fact that he's like, I've been watching this for a few years on and off, and basically...
They're coming out with this...
Well, yeah, because it's like I watch just because of how it's made. I'll watch... Okay, I finished
it's an arc.
Haruka's arc, and I finished Kaoru's arc, and I finished Sai's arc, and I finished all those really, really early on. Then I went in a couple months later, finished Ai's arc, finished Rihoko's arc, and for years, I left it hanging. And then I just decided, let me actually polish off this show, so I finished Hikasa's
Do you have the show on like, do you own it, or do you... Because they're coming out. Sentai is coming out with a set that's like all of it, both seasons.
Because that's actually why I don't own it. Like I haven't just bought it yet because I don't like buying things in parts.
No, it's the whole thing. It's both seasons.
Good.
It's whatever the second season was.
SS Plus.
Yes. Okay. Can I go?
Do it.
All right. So what did I? I finished the last episode of Tenchi no 3P, which was all right. That was an all right show. I liked Rokubu a little bit more, but no, it was a cute lolly thing, but nothing of reaching above like 4 stars.
I love how we're using restaurant metrics here.
It's 4 out of 5 stars is what I mean.
If you're gonna numerically rate something, the 5 scale is the best one.
That's the one.
For sure, yeah. Because a 10 scale is usually like.
Oh, I hate the 10 scale because it's like.
Because you always get some jackass with like, oh, it's 7.6.
No.
Well, no, you get into this.
Yeah.
You get into this school paradigm where anything below a 7 is terrible.
It's
No, I got a better
basically
one.
you fucked up.
The 10 point scale, but it's like 7.5.
I just made that reference, dude. I said
No, I
7.6.
know that. No, because it could be 10.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, but then, which is bad, but then it could be the 10 point and with a half. Yeah.
What really pisses me off is when people nominally do the 5-point scale, but do like, oh, it's a 3.5. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
so you're saying it's a 7.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so, but I watched both seasons of I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying.
I still need to watch that.
Which
yeah.
it's like okay, we get it. Donald Trump effectiveness.
It was an alright show. The artist is the same one that did Maid Dragon. And did a bunch of things. The one I forgot what the other ones are, but that artist. It's like the husband's an otaku, and the wife is like a normal person.
Right.
Like a normal.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with the premise of it because the significant other was actually telling me about it.
Yeah, I saw it on a time. I'm like, you know what? I have it on my hard drive. Might as well watch it 2 seasons.
Yeah, they're shorts, right?
Yeah, they're 3 minutes each.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because she made it sound like you could just sit there and watch it in like pretty much like in less than an hour.
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes or season.
Yeah.
Something like that. Of course, for me, I'm always a little bit longer because I pause constantly.
It's got to take screen caps.
Not even screen caps. It's just I'm so distracted by like if I'm browsing something.
See, I don't browse shit when I watch anime.
It's very hard for me unless it's like a show that I'm really hyper into.
So you have ADHD?
Well, see, I do that, but I don't pause it. Like, I'd never feel the need to pause it, or if I do, it's very, very rarely.
At least nobody here fucking does the thing where they put it on double the speed because they want to get through it.
No.
Like
you basically don't like anime if you do that.
Yeah, there's a very prominent figure who actually does this.
The other thing I watched is yesterday. A prologue episode for Idolmaster Side M.
Okay.
Aired. So
I have to get on that then.
Yeah, it was like 30 plus minutes. It's like 34 minutes or something. And it's like Jupiter, the the idol group, not the
Sailor Jupiter?
No. If you had said the planet, yes, I know a lot about Jupiter.
All right,
no,
you remember the male idols in the original Idolmaster?
No.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yes.
Okay, that's what this episode was about.
Anyway, continuing on.
I guess that was it.
Okay.
I tried to watch more Wing. I just can't do it. I'm like up to 7. I'm like, I guess maybe another time.
Well, you got to see Zex Marquise take down the most powerful weapon known to man in a welfare Zaku. So
yeah, but that's episode 1.
Realistically, I know.
And it didn't register my brain. It didn't register in my brain at all.
I'm sorry.
I love the fact.
That's the most amazing thing that happens.
I love the.
It's that and It's that and the angel wings and endless walls. That's it.
No. No, the most amazing thing is he's offered to take an Ares.
No, he chooses the welfare Zaku.
Which is a superior suit, and it's for aerial combat, where the Leo is more of a ground unit. I mean, come on. Yeah. Everything about that's ridiculous.
It's a welfare Zaku, and he chooses the welfare Zaku. He's offered something infinitely more appropriate for that. But no, it chooses the welfare
Nah, I'm good.
He latches onto the most powerful weapon system known to man at the time, and then he just takes it down.
Jumps out with a fucking
parachute.
Yeah, none of this registered in my brain.
I don't understand how that happens. I don't get how you watch that and like that does nothing for you. Understand that the Leo is basically.
I know what it's.
You know what a toilet paper roll is? So they took a bunch of those and decided, you know what? We have a lot of toilet paper.
Yes, I've
rolls.
seen
Let's make armor out of the toilet paper rolls, and then armor this reactor with these toilet paper rolls. And that's
the same stock footage over and over again of the Sandrock cutting the Leo in half.
Yeah, because that's what Leos are for.
Yeah,
they're for getting destroyed because they have toilet paper for armor.
But it's the same stock footage. It happened multiple times.
Yeah, I know. You know with how much Leos get destroyed in that show? Do you understand how expensive it would be to animate each and every one Leo getting blown up? With how many Leos get dispatched in that show? It's like the body count for Leos is probably worse than the body count for balls from UC.
Yeah.
So they're probably made out of like tin or aluminum foil.
I'm just thinking that they're made out of parts that they got from like from fucking appliances that don't work.
Made out of bronze.
Yeah. Well, they got the right color. Sort of. Anyway, moving along.
Anyway, we have news, so let's news.
Let's news. Working to restore power.
Funimation's fucking up again.
Yes, they are. This is going to tie into the main topic, by the way.
Yep. Yes. As will the next news bit.
Yes.
So
okay, somebody, I don't remember who, I think it was Lewd Gamer who found it.
I believe it was Lewd Gamer.
Or at least they probably didn't, they might not have found it, but they certainly brought it to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Basically, what was it? Was it Hajimete no Gal?
Yes.
Hajimete no Gal.
Okay, which, by the way, is a show I give 2 fucks about.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. I'm not interested in watching it. That's really well beyond the point.
Yeah. So basically, they did another script change, similar to what they did in Prison School for the broadcast dub, as well as Maid Dragon.
Yep. You could argue this one was actually worse.
It's pretty egregious.
Actually, I'm going to say it just flat out is worse. Because it actually takes aim at the people watching said show. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, haha, laugh at yourself. And that's fine, I get that. But this is deliberately injected with identity politics kind of bullshit. And
once again,
their word the whole bit.
Yeah, and once again, at the whole laugh at yourself thing, nobody's ever telling anyone else to laugh at themselves.
No. It's just really stupid. I'm going on record that I am boycotting them.
I'm not buying another Funimation release until I see a commitment to improving the quality of their dub scripts, because this is egregious.
Okay.
And here's the thing. After the Prison School thing happened, and after I saw that they fixed it in the DVD release, I went out and bought not only Prison School, but 2 other Funimation titles that I was neglecting buying for a while. Number 1, because I just neglected buying them, and number 2, because I wasn't happy with what they did in Prison School. So now I bought that, and then the Maid Dragon thing happens, and then the Hajimete no Gal thing happens. So I feel like an idiot.
Okay, I have to. All right, I have to go. A slightly different position than you guys, and that is I am not boycotting because yes, I don't like that they do this, and not that I would buy Hajime no Gal anyway, because I don't think it's a show worthy of owning as someone that buys very few shows now. But I'm not going to boycott something just because of the dub. I don't watch the dub. I don't care about the dub. The dub is not the product that I am actively consuming with. I want the show itself, and I want the thing that I don't want to see fucked up is the video quality. Don't fuck up the video quality.
Okay, homeboy, do you think I give a fuck about any of these dubs? Do you think I'm gonna watch? Do you think I'm ever gonna watch the Maid Dragon dub? Do you think I'm ever gonna watch the Prison School dub?
No. All right.
The point is
the point is, I'm super uncomfortable. Isn't the right word. I was gonna say uncomfortable, but right word. I'm livid that this company has repeatedly gone through unapologetically switched up the scripts of their dub to not, and really they switched up the scripts to their dub.
Well, see, I would, but
very, very, very topical, dated references that in 5 years none of this shit's gonna matter. So why are you changing the script to the dubs? Is to call out Gamergate and talk about all this feminist bull crap that's happening right now, or these people just hate women that they're doing Hajime no Gal. And number 3, they're doing it in a mean-spirited way against people who watch the show. So that's what I'm concerned about.
And my thing is that, there's certain shows that I'm still going to want to own no matter what.
Well,
like Love Live Sunshine. There's no way I'm not buying that.
Here's the thing. And make no mistake, I love you, VZ, but I've never seen someone so desperate to give money to a company that quite obviously doesn't give a fuck about them, doesn't give a fuck about what they want out of a product, and hates them as a person. I've never seen someone who desperate to give that company money, VZ.
But I don't attribute the entire company to said.
I do.
I do. Because
absolutely do. Okay, and here's the thing: if Funimation doesn't want that image, then they need to fire the people who are responsible for this shit.
Well, look, they just got bought by Sony. Or merge with Sony,
which makes it even worse.
We'll see.
No. You don't think Funimation's still in control of their company? How many
plus we all go on record that Sony's not exactly the most competent group out there.
Well, and let's be real, I shit on them for their video game stuff. I don't really know very much about other sectors of their.
Just more referring to them getting hacked.
I guarantee you, they're not just having Sony people injecting themselves into their organization. Sony just wants to own Funimation because that seems like a good business play at the time.
All right. I don't know, but like I said, I still want it. Like I still want Love Live.
I get it. You're desperate to give money to a company that doesn't give a fuck about you and would probably rather have you out of the fandom so they can serve people that they like. I get it. I understand.
That's not it.
Don't bullshit with.
That's not it.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. I don't care about the dub thing. I just want to give my money to this company. Or you could just import.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend all that much money on anime, and I know you don't want to spend that much money on anime. So what I'm saying is, let's find the middle ground between I'm just gonna import the shit and I'm all this shit they're doing, and let's find a middle ground to where they're giving us a product we actually want.
So you don't want me to buy any of that?
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. I don't actually care. What I care about is the principle thing. What I care about is that we're right now we're working with this narrative of quote unquote, I don't care about the dub thing, or well, what it really is I'm hearing a lot of excuses to try and justify why you want to continue buying stuff from Funimation, when really you could just tell me you could just tell me that you want to give money to this company because they have what you want. They're basically holding anime hostage for you.
I don't know, unless I heard like bad things about the dub of the show, even though I don't care because I'm never ever.
You do know they're eventually going to start fucking with the subs too if this is unchecked, right?
I don't know.
Well, why wouldn't they?
Busy.
Because the subs are usually from Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Oh, and Crunchyroll is totally not on board with this idea. I mean, have you seen these? Have you seen their comments?
You're not dumb, VZ. I know you're not dumb. Don't tell me you haven't considered the fact that they might start getting their tentacles into other aspects.
I get that. I get that. I'm not saying.
So let's stop them here instead of waiting until they fuck up an anime you care about. I haven't cared about a single anime they've done except Maid Dragon. The reason I own Prison School is because they fixed it. The only reason I own Prison School is because they fixed it, because I wanted to reward them for fixing it. And now they've gone and done that 2 times. And you know what? One time
the same guy in charge that did the Prison School?
The Prison School was a different guy than the other 2. The Hajime no Gal thing it's unknown. The writer is unlisted.
All right, so then attack.
Well, my point is
get to the person doing that. Don't.
No, they won't. No, that's the point. They're protecting them.
Funimation is protecting them, and here's where I get to this one thing I pulled up. Give me a second.
Uh-oh. Why do I have a feeling this is going to be considered another Mad episode?
Okay. Links posted in the IRC. Tweet from Funimation. A message to our community. We at Funimation want to have an open dialogue with fans. We welcome your praise as well as your criticism and suggestions for improvement. As fans and members of the anime community, there will be things that we don't all agree on, and there are always room for discussion and vocalizing those viewpoints. However, harassment, doxing, threats, or cruelty of any kind are unacceptable and will be taken very seriously. There is no place for that in this community from any side. And always striving to be better. Let's do it together. Funimation. Okay? So they're shielding these people, VZ, so we can't get at the people who are responsible because the company they work for is shielding them. So we have to go after the company they work for to tell it, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to shield the people, to circle the wagons around the people who are causing people to want to forego your product because of their principles. Want to forego your product because they want anime like anime is, and who want to forego your product because they don't appreciate them having these individuals' opinions and all their social garbage in their anime. Regardless if it's the dub or the sub, they don't want it in the anime. And the principle of the thing is, do it. Your job is not to put all your little stuff in the anime. You are not a writer. You did not make this. You didn't create this anime. And it's inappropriate. It's fully inappropriate for you to put all your political opinions inside this thing you did not make. Your job is to be invisible as a script writer for these things. Invisible. I don't want to know your name unless I'll go into those credits.
All right. Can I just say something? Even though I didn't want to say this on the show.
Do it.
I don't want to say the reason, but I am getting a gift card soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to use it on. So in a way, I'm actually not.
Okay, again, BZ, you're making excuses.
All right. If I don't think I should get it, then come on, lovely.
Well, no, it's not whether I think you should get it or not. It's that I'm not. Be consistent. Just be consistent is my point. If you care about the stuff, if you don't think Funimation should be doing this, then why are you buying the products?
I usually don't. I haven't bought the last Funimation thing that.
Then why go out of your way to buy it then? If you usually don't, why change the status quo?
Because they're the ones that have. I get it, and
I'd import.
I
would import if I wanted it that badly. I'd import, or else I didn't want it, or else I don't want it badly enough.
I'm not. Well, okay, then I guess I don't want it badly enough. It's $70.
I guess you don't want it badly enough.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay. Either you don't want the anime badly enough, or your principles aren't strong enough.
How about I consider it?
I don't care what you do, but understand that that's gonna say something. That's gonna say something to Funimation. Understand what you do says to Funimation. That's all I'm saying, and understand what you do says about your principles with regard to what Funimation is doing. Drawn Girl in the IRC at TE Anubis. Do you think buying products used would be better? That way you can have the show without supporting the company. Sure. If you want to buy it used, that way it goes all your money's going to the
retailer, basically.
The retailer. That said, however, there to a certain extent, to a lesser extent, it still creates the incentive for a retailer to purchase more of those products from a distributor. Man,
I gotcha.
Exhausting. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. All right. I think we should cut off here and go into.
We do have another piece of news, but we can actually go that in the break because that ties right in
to what we're going to be doing. This whole bit does, yes, actually.
Indeed. Yeah.
So
that being said, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
Yes, I just did the Doug thing.
I never cared for Doug. Sorry.
I was okay with the show, but it was
all right until they put them in. It was all right until they put them in high school.
You know what I try watching, and I just maybe because I was too old when it already came out, when I already had cable and satellite. Rugrats.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like, I'd rather watch Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff. If I'm gonna watch Western cartoons, I'm gonna watch that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Roger that.
I still love the concept of Quail Man. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, seriously, what the fuck, dude? Like, and then the announcer guy's like, the only superhero who wears his underwear outside of his pants. And it's like, well, no, he's not. I mean, really, think about that. The only underwear is in tidy whities, but
yeah, exactly.
That I am very suspicious that they didn't have any streaks in them. Because you know Quail Man had to shit his pants. I mean, come on. When we were at that age, did we ever think of superheroes that lame?
Nope.
Seriously.
To be fair, I didn't really those at all.
Yeah, I know, but when you were drawing or doodling or just like messing around with stuff, you were probably doing stuff that was at least kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, if you're doodling, it's like, oh, I'm drawing a gun, you know? Of course, now you'd probably get in fucking trouble if you did that. That used to be a thing. I used to have this little notebook that I just drew weapons in, swords, maces, daggers, bow and arrow, tanks, guns, any kind of, firearms or pole arms or whatever. And I'd probably have gotten in trouble for it now. They'd have probably thought I was up to something. It's like, oh, he's drawing blades. Yes, I was a 6-year-old that liked ninjas. Like, well, a 6-year-old.
Now you're trying. See, now I almost feel guilty about.
All I'm trying to do, and make no mistake, I make no mistake. I'm not mad at you. All I'm trying to do is.
I understand.
Get you to understand where the nature of principle.
I understand that.
Why it's important that as many people as possible get on board with this Funimation bullshit, because it has to stop. Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, third time is enemy action.
I'm thinking of that really obnoxious Southern thing, fool me once, shame on you.
This would be a lot easier if Love Live was still like licensed by like NISA.
This would be a lot easier if Funimation would just cut the bullshit and
knock that shit off.
Give us our anime.
The thing is, and I don't know how true this is.
We wouldn't have this. Then we wouldn't have this bleeding heart shit.
Oh, see, this only seems to be with certain shows.
Harassment, doxing, threats of cruelty of any kind are unacceptable and will be taken very seriously. So now they get to play the victim because people got mad enough to get at their people about it. Which is another reason. Which is the reason why, VZ, I say we can't go after the people, because the company's going to shield them and they're going to make them out to be victims, when in reality they're the people who did wrong first.
But going back to not necessarily just Funimation, but although they're certainly the culprits more than any other I could think of right now. Had something I was going to say about that. And I can't remember now.
Industry-wide? Even though other companies haven't been doing it.
I know what I was going to say. I honestly... Anubis, hang on, man. I'll forget if you don't let me say it. I have to wonder if some of these people have some kind of level of tenure and they can't fire them.
That shouldn't be the case. It should never be the case.
It shouldn't be, but do you ever think that might be actually a situation? So, like, they can't, or they'll have their legal team up their ass because of some contractual shit?
No, I don't think so.
Nope, you don't? Okay. Just thinking, well, maybe that's why they can't.
There's nothing about what I know about Funimation's organization, which to be fair isn't much, but I know they're a company. Majority of companies don't work that way.
Fair enough. I'm pleading ignorance here. I'm just saying, maybe that's one reason they won't. But if you want my honest opinion, it's because they agree with them.
They don't care about the people who watch their anime. They don't care about delivering a quality product to people who actually like anime, and they agree with them.
And if those Glassdoor reviews are correct, and I'm not saying they are, but if they are,
I don't believe them.
But
it's not that I don't believe them. It's I don't believe that that's the norm, just by the nature of what I know about Glassdoor.
Right. But assuming they do have a point to them, it appears that there is a certain level of just outright, not apathy, but genuine hostility towards certain people.
Yeah. Okay. To be slightly off topic here, although to go back to the other thing, that Jupiter thing I was telling you about, the one episode, just one episode, right? It's going up the Blu-ray for that. Would you like to know how much that is?
How much?
7,344 yen. So it's like $70 for one episode. Yeah, that's why I don't buy Japanese releases. Because if I bought Japanese you believe me, I would have like Cinderella. I would have the entirety of Cinderella Girls. I would have, a bunch of things already. The Japanese release of Gunbuster.
Really on the second segment?
Yes.
That's the second.
Actually, give me a second. I need to actually look something up for this.
Oh, okay.
Anubis is angry once more.
You almost sounded like that one really nasally dude on The Simpsons that works at the fucking pizza place.
Oh, he's always angry again.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, pimply faced teenager.
Yes.
Character's name.
That's the character's actual name.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an extra.
Pimply faced teenager. I have to check with my manager.
Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Now let's see if I know how to make my mark. And he does a fancy signature.
Yeah.
Some folks will never like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Nah. As far as extra type characters like that go from The Simpsons, I always like Dr. Nick.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
See you in the operating place. It's like, yeah.
What was a great Hans Molman?
Yeah, he was pretty entertaining.
Man, getting hit by
football. Dude just getting hit in the junk by the football. Homer just loses his shit.
Give that man the $10,000.
This isn't America's Funniest Home Videos.
But the man, the groin, it works on so
many levels. Yeah.
What was I looking at Simpsons today? Hence why I changed my Twitter thing today to Idolholic. When he was I'm addicted to rage. No, it's like I can't live without Rageahol. I'm a rageaholic. I can't live without Rageahol.
Yes. You still looking for that, Anubis?
I think I got it.
All right. Is it something we need to be looking at too?
Not necessarily. I'm just trying to familiarize myself with the gist of this story so I don't fuck it up.
Oh, another story. Wonder if it's something I heard.
You probably heard about it. Like everyone's heard about this. So it would be nice if I could find the actual thing, but I can't. So let's go.
Alrighty. Oh wait! Before we swing,
right.
Before we swing back in, are we doing a third, or is this just gonna? We have mail basically.
We do. It's actually not like we do. It's not serious mail.
No.
Okay, but is it worth snickering at or?
Snickering.
It might be good for a laugh.
Okay. Well, we can maybe do that.
If it's another what's his face? I forgot. Then don't bother.
This person has never emailed us.
Oh, all right.
Well, that could be interesting.
Okay.
Forgot his name. Can't think.
All right. So
anyway, second segment in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So continuing on from our news discussion.
Let's news. Working to restore power.
I like that little drum roll.
I love it. in a nutshell, Katakawa kicked out the director for Kemono Friends.
Yes.
And you would not believe the shitstorm.
And everyone's pissed.
Yeah,
I heard their was it their stock thing?
their stock went down faster
Yeah.
than Delta's.
Katakawa's stock plummeted literally overnight. Katakawa got trending worldwide on Twitter over it. Everyone's mad.
I love the fact that everybody else is talking about Anubis. I love the fact that everybody else is.
No. Hold on. Katakawa's stock plummeted overnight. They got trending on Twitter, and Good Smile Company is allowing cancellations on pre-order for Kemono Friends merchandise.
That's
This is
what we call
unprecedented.
that's what we call a
They
colossal
fucking never
fuck
do
up.
that. That's what we call you fucked up.
Gargantuan. But though I love the fact that over here, Puerto Rico relief is what's trending. Over there, them being pissed off about somebody being fired from an anime studio.
These people are pissed.
It's like no, we're not. We don't care about the little island area being obliterated at all.
Right, and so the general consensus, we don't actually know. General consensus, they did it because Katakawa did it because they believed they could replicate the success of Kemono Friends without the director. Which, given the nature, given the nature of Kemono Friends production, is a colossal miscalculation. Because there was like 8 people on the staff. It was made on a shoestring budget. So you can assume that like Katakawa will just pump a bunch of money into it, but to be perfectly honest, part of the reason that show is so popular and part of the reason that show had such longevity is because it didn't have a big budget and they had to work within that limitation.
Yeah, it's like the sort of the minimalist of. I never watched it, but I know I am familiar with the minimalistic nature of it.
Right, exactly.
Is the appeal.
Right.
So, and there is an appeal to like sometimes something being so shoestring, and then when you try to like throw a gigantic budget at it, it loses. Like that's me and Tokusatsu.
To me, that's Berserk. The original one was, I don't want to say minimalistic, but it had a pretty small soundtrack. It used a lot of still shots, and things like that.
Yeah.
And now they got all this CG and stuff, which, by the way, I think looks like crap. I don't think a show like Berserk is a show you use CG to supplement it.
Right.
It's too, it's too Middle Ages kind of shit. That works more for sci-fi.
Yeah.
And not shit where you have horses still,
Or dancing idols.
Yeah.
So. I heard something about him, but the director, I don't recall 100%. I actually did listen to the recent A&N cast because they were discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's still kind of a mystery.
Yeah. Well, I think you always have to.
It's probably internal stuff.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's
not only that, but if you're not fluent in Japanese, you're probably going to be missing out on some of the finer details.
Right.
I mean, just because of the language barrier.
I heard that the Seiyu were like even crying or something.
Ouch. That's
wouldn't
bad.
surprise me.
That's one of those things where, like, imagine the big wig is like out, I don't know, golfing or something, and they come back and they're like, "What the fuck?"
The guys who get all the money, or the animators are like, "Oh boy, I get a cup ramen today."
Yeah, which that actually plays into something that does need to be changed.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So So going into our main topic, we're talking about how to improve the anime industry.
Maybe we should start. Maybe we should start domestically though, and before we move to abroad.
Yeah, let's start on domestic.
Like clean our own house first.
What we need to do first is explain to anyone who might be uninitiated how this shit even works.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, so let's make an anime. What do we need to make an anime? We need what's called a production committee. It is a collection of companies that get together and basically fund the anime. You're talking about TV studios, you're talking about distributors, you're talking about international licensors, you're talking about maybe just general advertisers, like Pizza Hut was likely on the production committee for Code Geass.
No, most likely.
The toy companies, if they're
toy companies,
or
merchandise producers.
Yeah.
Or the people that make the parts for said toys, even.
Yeah.
Right.
Grand sponsor, Tokyo Day of Christmas.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Basically.
Producers, music producers, all of those people, they're part of the production committee.
Guys,
what usually isn't on the production.
In the chat, Scorpa Guy says, "You start over. Push the reset button."
What you usually don't see on the production committee, however, is the studio. There are very few studios who have the clout to sit on their own production committees. Sunrise and KyoAni are two of them.
Yeah, I was dead. Definitely KyoAni is. That's why you don't really see like people. You know, a lot of I always see like comments like, where's the Maid Dragon figures? You know, or you know, most KyoAni things. That's because the things that KyoAni adapts from are from their own like thing. So
right.
They don't need an external source of revenue.
Right. They're investing their own money into the production and they make more money from it because of it.
Right. That's why they're able to make
self-sustain.
Yeah, that's why you see like although not this year so much, but you haven't seen more KyoAni things, especially in now theatrical movies, because that's where the big money is to make.
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of that, just as a little aside, can we not have this fucking live action Your Name?
Yeah.
This was a terrible idea.
It's just capitalizing on it. I don't care anymore. I would rather we stop complaining about it so no one knows what it's out.
How about just
anyway? Continuing, where the studio comes in is they're hired to work on an anime.
Yeah, they're basically so like
the production committee. Yeah, the production committee will get together, say, okay, we want to adapt this light novel, maybe make some figures of it, do this, that, and the other thing, and then they go to JC staff and say, hey, JC staff, here's our budget. You want to make this anime, and then JC staff will start making.
That's funny that you bring like you just said JC staff. Am I the only one that feels like? Again, this is only personal feeling to this. I have like no insight but I always feel like JC staff is the studio that they go to after their whatever it is.
Proposals were rejected elsewhere.
Yeah. It's like,
well, I mean, knowing the nature of anime studios, I really don't think there are that many anime studios that would just reject proposals.
KyoAni would. KyoAni.
Well, okay, KyoAni would, but they're on the production committee, so we already know KyoAni's making the anime. KyoAni's on the production committee.
See, I just feel like that
they're not going to like.
KyoAni investigated KyoAni and has determined that KyoAni is good.
Yeah, they're not going to Doga Kobo, or they're not going to like Actus. They're going to JC staff, and realistically, JC staff is probably one with more clout. Doga Kobo, and they're not going to.
Well, the reason why I say is JC staff is because unlike other studios, they don't really have a discernible style to them, which means they'll animate anything.
So it doesn't, like if you look at something
which is why they go to JC staff.
You know what A1
Pictures or KyoAni.
Yeah, you know what a Doga Kobo show.
Or even Madhouse a lot of the time.
Yeah, a Madhouse. Well, speaking of another mini news bit, even though I don't care about the show itself. Do you want to run? Do you want to do the news thing?
No.
All right.
No.
He's abusing it at this point.
Twice is enough.
Okay.
I like it, but twice is enough.
The second season for One Punch Man, which again I don't personally care about, but
it's being moved. Yeah.
Yeah, from Madhouse to
Dun, dun, dun.
not just any studio, JC Staff.
See, this is called a tie-in.
And again,
So-
there is a certain, what's that word when you like look down on other, like,
Schadenfreude.
yeah, there's like a certain like glee, like I don't mean to feel like that, but a certain aspect of you guys are getting, you're what you deserve, you're just that now how to feel, what I feel like.
I'm not gonna gloat on something like that. I think that's just kind of that's petty.
But,
Yeah, I think that's kind of petty. What I more so though is, so let's talk about that. So they're moving from Madhouse to JC Staff. Why would they do that?
Actually, that was another thing.
Let's speculate.
That was another thing in the podcast, in that ANN podcast that was discussed.
All right, so they probably know more than us. So what did they say?
Probably because I know like how stuff with Madhouse takes years and years and years and years to like.
But let's be fair. Most things from Madhouse actually look good, whether you like them or not.
But it's like, and they were discussing: do you wait for the inevitable sequel, even if it takes years and years and years from the same studio, or do you go?
Oh, is it like them trying to push it out faster to kind of
capitalize on
its popularity?
Exactly. So
maybe JC can do it cheaper. That probably too.
That makes sense to me. All those make sense to me.
Yeah.
JC would probably do it cheaper and faster.
But here's
striking while the iron's hot kind of deal.
Here's the thing. It's the engineering triangle: faster, better, cheaper. Pick two.
Well, here's the other thing.
You can have it fast and really good, but it's not going to be cheap. Or you can have it fast and cheap.
It depends.
It's not going to be good.
Same staff as the previous, because a lot of staff for these shows.
JC's staff is the McDonald's of anime studios.
Okay, that's not fair.
Oh, come on, man. That's ooh. Hey, but hey, this is also a callback because this goes back to we were talking about Happy Meals earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
See, it's a circle.
A lot of times you see different studios, but the same staff is something if the show moves from one to the other.
Right. Didn't they do that with Strike Witches?
Yeah, or I got a better example because both seasons looked identical, even though the production moved from one to another. Or Emo. The first one was AIC.
Yep.
The second season was A1.
Okay, yeah. That is a good one.
But it wasn't like stylistically. It changed on the what else do we want to? So we're talking about how
okay, so continuing on. So they're moving the production to JC Staff, and where I was going with, because the reason I very specifically pointed JC Staff is like the dime a dozen anime studio is because look at how much anime JC Staff puts out.
Yes.
Compared to how much anime someone like KyoAni puts out.
Right. That's very much a concept of a quality over quantity type of deal. I think because like everything
to a certain extent, KyoAni has enough, let's be real, money to be able to sit on their own production committees.
Well, here's the thing.
They have more money to invest in the show, which means you end up with a better show at the end of it.
Here's the thing.
Obviously doesn't have that kind of money to sit on his own production committees, so they're forced to do work for hire, and they have to take on a lot of it to sustain their own business.
I think also it's that even though KyoAni has a little more money and more staff, and better results. I think it's also they know that, again, we talk about this thing of how they know how much their show like how many sales, which it means they don't over produce more than what, which is why they're not in the hole of like, whereas I think the problem with as with JC Staff is they make too much.
But that's my entire point though. Why do you think JC Staff puts out that much? They have to, just to sustain their business.
I also think
they don't have the kind of the money and clout KyoAni. And just a quick correction, VZ, KyoAni actually has less employees than JC Staff, if Wikipedia is to be believed.
All right. Yeah.
Well, like I said how much Anubis? How much of JC Staff's output? How much of it is like somewhat commissioned? If you know what I mean. You know what I mean? That they come to them and say, "Hey, the
production committee comes to JC Staff and says, "Hey, here's the budget. Make this anime."
Yeah, basically. Whereas
I'd wager the vast majority of it.
Yeah, whereas KyoAni, like you said, they sit on their own production committee, so they can basically go, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah,
much more easier than they can.
Don't make it. Yeah, exactly. But my point is, how did KyoAni is at that level, and JC Staff can't make those decisions. They can't just say, they basically can't say no, because if they say no, then people don't eat.
Well, isn't it also because of KyoAni being in Kyoto and the business practice might be a little different?
Yeah, probably, because let's be honest, usually people think of Tokyo when they think of that. And
they do have a Tokyo branch called Animation Do.
Yeah. Okay. I actually didn't know that.
I mean, yeah, potentially, but then again, you can look at Sunrise and like where are they situated. Yeah. They're situated in Tokyo, but they also sit on their own production committees, and they just purely have enough clout. And even looking between KyoAni and Sunrise, KyoAni, you don't see a lot of merchandise for their products just because that's what they do. A lot of merchandise for their products.
Yeah. Sunrise is all about the merchandising.
Well, another thing about Sunrise is they have different. What a lot of people I don't think understand about them is it's not one just megalith. They have different departments that do different shows.
Yeah.
The same groups that are doing Gundam were not doing fucking Horizon on the middle of nowhere.
And probably not Love Live. So
exactly.
AIC does the same thing though.
Right. It's I can't remember. Aren't they divided into sections?
Yeah, there's different ones
that handle different kinds of stuff.
Mm.
Different just groups of talent, as you were.
Right. But I'm saying, to be fair, AIC does the same thing though.
Oh yeah.
So it's
I didn't know Alice in Chains started doing anime.
So it's purely not a this is the way they do business has elevated to the point where they sit themselves on the production committee. It's purely money. They just have enough money, and to be 100% fair, Sunrise has very close ties to Bandai.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's probably some of that money going along.
I think Bandai owned Sunrise, if I'm not mistaken, which happened during V Gundam, and I think Tomino hated that.
Oh, I could believe that.
Yeah.
Because wasn't he still going through like a mass depression at that point? It certainly shows in V Gundam.
That, and also I remember, like, I haven't seen V Gundam, but I know like something like they changed the order of the first episode because the Gundam had to be introduced in the first episode.
Yeah, he was really annoyed with that. I think that spoiled the show for him in a way. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Japanese release of it, he actually had a note in that basically said, "Don't buy this."
Yeah.
But so we understand that studios like JC Staff they're like the plebs of the anime industry. They're like the peasants of the anime industry.
That's not to say they don't. They've done good work. That we
to make
I think he's talking more about
on the work they do.
I think he's talking more about economically and things like that.
Yeah,
to make no value judgments of the work they do. They're the serfs of the anime industry. They toil it for the production committees.
Yeah. Also, if you've been watching anime at any length, you've definitely come across a JC Staff show.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
something
only because they make so much.
Exactly.
If you haven't, you've only been watching Miyazaki movies. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, exactly. But so, and we understand that the conditions people in these studios work under are horrendous.
Oh yeah, you could probably do a really nasty documentary about that. Yeah, like can't you see one of those
the surface?
No, yeah, like one of those 60 minutes kind of investigations.
Yeah.
It's like, or no, even better, those you paid for it things. We're like they bust into Congress people's fucking houses and ask them, bull rush them with questionnaires and stuff.
So how come
the water is missing? Yeah. Kind of bit. Or, you know what I mean?
How come the animators aren't getting paid?
Yeah, exactly. They get right in their face with the mics and shit.
They go right in the car.
Yeah, exactly. There's we need to talk to you about some wages here. No, you can't go away. Because they got the mic just shoving in their face. I mean, that's what they used to do, just barge into there with camera crews and mics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so but no, you probably could actually make one of those undercover sort of these are the
full expose on the conditions.
Yeah,
at JC Staff.
So
of course, knowing our luck, they'd make it into some sort of North Korean camp fucking.
There actually is a thing where you can watch how with JC Staff, the studio.
Oh yeah, because Danny Chu went into JC Staff.
Yeah, of course it would be JC Staff to be the one to animate to put his character into a thing.
Well, gee, why do you think he chose them to do that with? Come on.
Well, yeah,
he doesn't want to pay Madhouse to put Mirai Suenaga in the next friggin' whatever.
It's gonna be okay, you're gonna put Hino Watanabe. And I want it to be done by Kiwani.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Kiwani's just gonna say no.
It's no.
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. How'd you get in here?
It's security. We got a homeless person in here.
But no, so we know the conditions.
I am kidding. I don't have anything against Danny Chu.
Dude's champion. But my question is, what do we do? So that's basically the question is, how do we improve this situation?
Now, like I said, depends on
Occupy Anime Street.
Haha. So basically,
Akihabara,
yeah.
Occupy JC Staff. What are we doing here? Smoke pot?
Probably get arrested for that.
Yeah, actually, I think you can get nailed pretty bad in Japan for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's absurd. Anyway, moving along. It depends on if you want to talk about the problems there or here. I mean, which ones do you? Where do you want to start?
Let's tackle. That's a good question, because at this point there are significant ties going either way.
True, but there are certain things that are unique to there and here.
Right. Well, let's start. We started and start over there.
All right. Because it's made there.
Part of the problem is what I call it a problem in looking at purely the conditions of studios and the
worker conditions. They're awful. Like we're talking muckraker, fucking meat packing shit. People die.
So
Or commit
yeah,
suicide.
yeah,
Like
yes, exactly.
like when's the last time you heard of a Disney animator doing that?
That happened to one of the animators for a show I like, Kanagi Crazy Shrine Maidens.
Right.
Which is the animator outright killed him.
Scorpigeist says animators and frame drawers are not valued at the level they should be. No, they're not.
Well, this has to do with the Tezuka system, believe it or not. It goes back to that. I've heard this.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the Tezuka system, actually. What is it?
Okay, basically the way anime production is set up is more or less because of where Tezuka had to do, to get anime, which was okay.
Need to be more specific there, buddy.
All right. Basically not paid by the drawing, I think. Not as but of course that was then, and now it needs to be where animation where
you're not paid by hour, you're paid by the drawing.
Yeah.
Basically? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically how much you can pump out is how much you're going to get paid.
Exactly.
Right.
So basically there's no baseline system to where if you're at work 8 9 hours a day, you get X amount of money.
Yeah.
So if you don't bust your ass, and someone else does, they are going to reap all the money.
Yeah, and as a result, a lot of these people end up working 20 hours a day, sleeping 4 hours.
Oh, well, also
they
sleep there, by the way.
Yeah.
At the studio.
If they don't sleep there, they also, which I don't know, I've never been in one of these studios. Do they have those creepy ass coffin places they sleep in?
Well, no, that's one of the hotels. That's like
probably not. They probably
no. They did. I think they just
sleep under their desk.
Some workplaces do have them. I've seen them.
I think they just sleep like
in
right
the chair.
Well, if not the chair, probably below, like on the floor, I imagine.
Freaking on the cold floor.
Yeah, and then they probably just get a thing of cup ramen.
Yeah, I mean, because like in the show Golden Boy, that it's kind of portrayed that way. The little group of them, they're there. Everything's a fucking mess. They're eating instant food every day.
Yeah, there's a hilarious OVA. There was 2 episodes. Animation Runner Kuromi. That kind of and the good director even said it was pretty much like this.
Yeah.
Where I love the
best thing about that Golden Boy bit is like the main homeboy, the main guy, he basically cleans up this one dude's fucking giant mess, and the dude comes back and basically hits him. He's like, "Now I don't know where anything fucking is."
Yeah, exactly.
What is it? The in the beginning when the main girl comes in, the president of like the company or whatnot, or the main whoever, the head of the company, like oh, I have to go to the hospital now. I have an ulcer.
Ouch.
And she's like now in charge of the production. And it's like all the different people are like all the different animators have like their own neuroses that she has to deal with. Like
I could believe that.
Like one woman,
you got to be at least a little bit off kilter to be in this job. I'm sorry.
Yeah. One woman won't stop talking about her husband and how awful her husband is. Another one is like crazy.
I think the directors are crazier than the actual animators, though.
Yeah.
At least in terms of, outright lunacy kind of stuff goes.
One woman was like always afraid of messing up, so she'd like make a line but then erase. It's like make another line up, erase. One guy was just like a total otaku that was more interested in his figures and
yeah, I gotcha.
All right.
So what can be done about this?
So here's part of the problem. And again, I use the word problem lightly because this is just how it is. Part of the issue is the nature of the production committee, funds thereof. So a link is in the IRC. This is anime industry data, looking at the 2016 report.
So it is recent.
It's recent. So in 2015, which is the latest they have data from in this report, market in a broad sense. This is basically the entire production committee. Money made from animation and animation related works by the production committees was 1,826,000,000,000 yen. Money made by studios was only 201 billion. So the studios are making just under a tenth of the total money being made in this industry.
Yeah.
That in perspective of how much money is being made from anime in general versus how much money is being made by the studios.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't want this to become is, let's take money from the production committees and give it to the studios.
Mm-hmm.
Because that breaks the entire dynamic, the entire nature. Because and if the production committee is not making money, we don't have anime. And what happens then is, if the production committee is making less money, studios aren't given work to do, and we'll have less anime. The studios will make less money, and everyone gets hurt because of that. So what's necessary is to look for some sort of solution to get studios more money without taking that money from the production committees.
On some level, people are talking about how things like, Kickstarter and things like that are funding some things.
Yes. Which, by the way, did you hear about? There's this thing, like, I haven't watched it, but I heard a lot of talk about this thing called Neo Yokio.
Yes.
I haven't watched it, and I have no interest in it.
No.
Toblerone.
But going on the Kickstarter thing, I don't think that's sustainable.
No, but for certain projects, I think it's
that's good for
a one-off OVA, but you're not gonna.
That's for passion projects, not
you're not gonna run TV anime off of Kickstarter.
No, definitely not. No.
I think my only solution would be, look at what Kiwani is doing and see what they can learn from that.
But they can't, though. Kiwani is a different animal. They purely have more money than all these companies. They get to sit on their own production committees and choose what they make. JC staff, AIC, they don't get to pick and choose. There's nothing they can learn from Kiwani except maybe some technique things here and there, just to make their stuff better. But then again, it's not going to get them to that level. They just really don't have it. And realistically, if JC staff made a huge breakout hit that sold up like near the 80,000 club, they would probably start sitting on their own production committees pretty soon. But they can't do that because their stuff just isn't up to snuff with what Kiwani's making.
Well, considering
their stuff just isn't up to snuff with what the kind of power behind Sunrise.
Well, considering that they just announced the third season for Index, which was like, wow, it took them this long to do that, like, number one thing.
There might have been hang-ups with that. I don't know. Yeah. But and Drawing Girl in the RC, I've heard they actually don't have more money. I've heard they have the same budget as every other studio. That might be hearsay, though. That might not be correct.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about budget. Money the company has because they're able to invest in their own works. They're able to sit. They're at the level where they can sit on their own production committees.
Well, I still wonder about, again, I always bring up about, like, how the 80s and early 90s, there was the conditions which are very difficult to have today, of Japanese and Western co-productions that made it easier than how would that be replicated to?
Well, that doesn't work the same way because that largely depends on the overall economy.
And to a certain extent, that's a different animal because when we talk about Japanese Western co-production, we're talking about stuff that was made for the audience over here. Stuff that was conceptualized and instigated by properties over here, animated in Japan.
Farmed out over there in terms of the animation.
Yeah, also I think a lot of that was...
They outsourced the animation to Japan.
Also, a lot of that, like the capital for that was us. We were the ones investing crazy.
Yes, that's
people
exactly
were investing. People were investing in Japan even outside of that, though. Like, look at the car industry and all that, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, electronics and whatnot. I mean, money was just
on a greater economic scale. There was a lot of money going to that country in general. But what I'm saying is the reason we had those and the reason those were prominent around that time is because there were a lot of companies here investing a lot of money in Japan to have them do their animation for cartoon works that came out over here.
But the
American cartoons because they're made for our audience.
True, but the money they glommed from that was poured back into their own works.
Yes,
which is why they had that extra budget. I mean, it doesn't really make any other sense for really to look at it any other way than that, because all this extra money is coming in from all kinds of shit, actually, but because everybody thought, they were going to be the new world economic power.
Though to a certain extent, there was a lot less anime in general coming out during that time.
Yeah, that's true too. Like I actually ran the numbers the other day. 1985 TV series, there was like 16.
Yeah.
Hang on. I ain't done with the point. And 30 years later, in 2015, it was like 158 or something. I mean, like, look at that.
223 if you count children's anime for 2015.
Okay, my bad then. But I think you get what I'm saying. The sheer amount of what would be the word here? Growth.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's even the expansion.
Yeah, the sheer production levels.
Yeah, I'm not referring to like quality or anything.
No, just the volume of.
Yeah, exactly. There's a proper word for this in marketing and whatnot, and I can't think of what the fuck it is.
I hear some people, and I don't 100% agree with this, which I'll get into. Is they should focus more on quality than the quantity, and the difference. But the difference between 1985 and now,
more studios for one.
Well, studios, but also the way they make stuff is
vastly different.
Well, different, but also we make this thing, and for the most part, it's going to serve this audience, this particular group. And we're going to make this thing for this group. So basically, everyone is getting what they want, as opposed to we make this thing, and we're going to try to make this thing for as much, which it still exists for like the mainstream stuff, like One Piece and all that. But by and large, anime is more focused
let's not forget the switch from to digital, to where it made it cheaper overall.
Digital, but also shorter length, because I realize about old anime versus new animes. Old anime used to be...
It's all hand-drawn, pretty much.
No, I know that, but I'm talking about the number of episodes per series.
Oh, yeah.
There's a much shorter half-life.
Yeah, like now the average show is 12, 13 episodes.
Yeah. There's a shorter half-life, and it has
back then shit would run for 50 episodes or some crap like that,
Yeah.
It's really hard to get an IP to do that now. Like, even big names like Gundam split those into 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's because they have to make
they have to recoup their money they made on the first season to pour it into the second one most of the time.
Is that, but also like again, if they made the thing that tries too hard to focus, then, which is my problem with the majority of Hollywood today, is they try to make things that to them we're trying to please everyone, which in essence doesn't please anyone, and
ultimately is just forgettable, faceless crap.
Yeah, that's the definition of the pandering, which is why I can't pander to as many groups. Whereas we're gonna make this thing, it's gonna be for this audience. We're gonna sell. It's probably gonna sell this amount of units.
It's interesting because anime has I think it's one of the very few things that market itself in this way.
Which is why it's kind of a big deal when you hear about stuff that becomes bigger than what they ever anticipated of it being. Like
Madoka.
Yeah, like Madoka.
It exploded. Or yeah,
Live,
exactly.
Love Live.
Or like Kamino Friends.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, for a very, very recent situation. But no, that's always been kind of a peculiar part of it. It's like, okay, we expect to sell X amount. I mean, not to say that marketing and stuff over here with all kinds of things don't have that too, but it's usually set at a lot higher than that.
Yeah, but I think again, we have this thing where we try to make which is again,
we don't see just recouping all your money as a success.
Yeah, but I'm trying to describe like a lot of those Transformer movies, the new ones, the Michael Bay ones. They try to do this like pandering to the PG-13 audience.
I got a whole rant about that, but that's for a different show.
Rather than, because it's certainly not for people like me who grew up with Transformers. It's not for.
I hate to tell people this, but the whole PG-13 thing is largely to appeal to places like China.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, and I don't think this has ever been lifted, movies that exceed PG-13 are not allowed there. And thus, that's a massive, massive market.
Also, no ghosts for some reason.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. But
to a certain extent, though, and I kind of feel like the comparison of anime to stuff like Hollywood is unfair.
Yeah, it is.
Because anime just purely doesn't go for the general audience unless it's children.
Usually.
That's an entire different subset of anime. Like, it's to the point where if you look at the seasonal chart on my anime list, it automatically just doesn't include children's anime. Because the only anime we give a shit about are mostly late night anime.
Yeah, which again, late night anime has the different rules to children's anime. Children's anime is not about selling. See, that's another thing. One of the things that changed from 85 or whatnot to now is the show itself is the product. Whereas back then, they weren't selling the show; they were selling the product. That they were selling, the incendiary merchandise. The show itself wasn't what they were selling. That changed really with the OVA market.
Yeah,
that was the OVA.
Well, a lot of the time, and especially nowadays, the show really isn't the product. Media sales have been declining for a while, and
but they still treat it. They still treat it that the show is the product.
They can make money because they can make money off of that. Listen, if you can make 17 cents, that's 17 cents you didn't have. My point is, the product is mostly what they're advertising for the show, which is basically the light novel for Eromanga Sensei. So let's make an anime for it. They're advertising any tie-ins they're doing, like with Pizza Hut and Code Geass.
Well, certainly,
and they're advertising the merchandise.
Even like Akira was, they were selling they were selling the comic. The movie was an advertisement for the comic.
Right.
Right, exactly.
A lot of anime basically works like that.
Yeah, the show is only the product in a way that they can make money off of it, so they will. But the real product is whatever they're originally advertising and whatever merchandise gets sold based on that show.
Right.
But it's like what it comes back down to is how do we get the studios more money? And how do we get the studios more money without taking from the market in a broad sense, the production committees?
Right.
What I would like.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say.
You go ahead, because I'm about to launch into something.
Okay. One thing they could do, and again, this is just an idea, is have some sort of I don't know, foundation or something, like some kind of arts and humanities type of deal, some shit like that. I don't know. And basically,
I'm super dubious about this, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's just an idea, like some sort of like philanthropic kind of thing where people can that have money can finance this sort of stuff just out of pure, I don't know, passion for it. And it could be like a thing that doles out money in a certain sort of like supplementary kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I don't know how feasible that would be, just purely because
again, it's hard to come up with something that's purely that's not going to be just for like projects or something.
Well, I know one solution I've heard, but I don't agree with, and that is when people say like, "Oh, the Japanese government should invest in the," and I say absolutely not, and here's why. I'm
more dubious about that than the shit K-Gaj just said.
All right,
yeah, that sounds particularly.
Because do you really think
socialistic?
Yes, extremely.
Well, do you really think the government of Japan is going to like invest in your like ecchi show?
No, it's going to be fucking nationalist propaganda probably.
Yeah, it'll probably.
Well, okay, so let's not hyperbolize, because this actually sort of does happen. An initiative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would make stuff to sort of promote, especially now with the Olympics coming up.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I got to point something out. When they come up with some new characters for that it's just going to be Porn City.
Yeah,
of course.
I'll be disappointed if it's not, because because I'd be wrong, and two, because I'm sure they'll find some interesting character design for that, and yeah. Go on.
So I would suggest, and this is something that needs to be executed very precisely in order to at one end not be just completely ineffectual, but at the other end not go completely buck wild. I actually like the idea of Western companies basically investing in Japanese studios specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of, hey, here's a bunch of money, and like they expect some kind of return on that, but say and not necessarily any company directly involved in anime right now, like
right.
Crunchyroll or anyone, but like
I think I see where you're getting at.
Going in and saying, okay, I see potential in this particular studio. Like I see potential in AIC.
I'll put up the capital.
I like their stuff. Yeah, I'll put up some capital, and not for them to make anything, capital. So
here's capital. You'll do something with it.
Not even that. Stuff like this is like angel investing or venture capital. So like I'll put up the capital. I'm gonna basically own part of your company, or I'll put up the capital for you to increase the quality of your work conditions. and so you're gonna be able to sustain yourself. You're gonna be able to hire more people. You're gonna be able to put out more anime.
Yeah, I
You're able to
mean,
make more money, hire more people, improve your conditions more. That upward spiral. They just an investment in the studio,
right.
so that they'll be able to go on this up. So number one, so the animators won't die.
Yeah.
Number two, so they'll be able to begin an upward spiral. So then maybe every company will be like Kyoto Animation and Sunrise.
Well,
Or on the flip side, more big Japanese companies could start backing these studios like they do Sunrise. But I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that either.
Well, like I said, yeah, it would.
The problem is when other people's hands start getting in the mix, there starts unreasonable demands start popping up, and
yeah. See, I like See, I have to go with K-Gods. The Western thing sounds good until you get
until it's like, hey, I'm willing to fork up the capital, but can you knock off the titty anime?
Exactly.
Here's the thing. It's not that. It's not that. What I'm saying is, very specifically, I'm going to give you money, improve your conditions, so you'll make me, because the objective is to make more money for everyone.
Well,
so
obviously.
why would I stop Staff or AIC or any of these mid-level companies from making titty anime if that's what's making them money?
Right.
Why would I try to stop that?
Okay, yeah.
It's going to hurt the studio, and it's going to ruin this relationship.
So the only problem I see with that is the channel itself. Like, okay, does this person own like stock in this company now, or you know what I'm saying?
And what's it wouldn't be, okay, to my knowledge, I don't think I don't think any of these studios are publicly traded.
No, I don't.
There might be
think
subsidiaries by companies that are publicly traded, but it's more like regular venture capital.
Right.
Like private trading, where private equity is the word. Private equity, where I pay you, I give you an infusion of money, you give me a percentage of your company and some level of decision making power.
Yeah, I got you.
I say, okay, improve your conditions so you can improve your conditions, do this, that. The end goal is you employ more people, you make more anime, you make better anime, you make more money, I make more money.
So, multi-million dollar Americans or Canadians and whatnot.
And hey, a lot.
Are you listening?
Well, hey, look at how much this market's growing over here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's fans of this.
It's like the biggest growing silent market. It's huge, but nobody knows how huge it is.
But yeah, basically like this. Say there's someone like I don't know, any of us, but they also just happen to have a really they're loaded.
Hey, if I had that kind of money, I'd do that too.
No, that's what I'm saying though. I'm sure it wouldn't be a stretch that you could talk them into doing something like that.
But you got to animate my dream anime.
I would request one personal project, and I'd put up the money for it. That's it. Maybe two personal.
Why do I have a feeling it would be a self-insert flying around on a plane with half-naked maids, possibly Fudas?
Listen.
See, believe it or not, I know, like, you would look at me as like, oh, I bet he wants, like, you know, lowly idol maids with.
There's already a lot of that.
But yeah, well, exactly. That's actually not what I would require, like as a passion project, because there's actually a lot of that. I would probably make like my dream robot anime thing. That as long as I am like, here's my proposal. Let me do the design work and all that shit. You know, that would be like probably my you know, my like sort of conditions for, and then I would give the money if I had the money for that.
Right. So Scorpio guys in the RC. Unfortunately, most people are too too short-sighted to do that to you, Anubis. Not true, because again, this is venture capital. It's a basic business concept. People already do this for businesses over here. I'm sure venture capital exists in Japan as well. People already do this. We just need some enterprising people who care about anime over here to invest in
It's like, look,
studios over there so they can improve their stuff. And understand how much of a fucking hero this person would be if they did that. This person or this company would be.
Look, here's my personal project. We need to get Mamoru Nagano on the designs again with the fucking mechanical stuff.
So we want it to take 7 years. I got you.
Yeah, ouch. Hey, the extra money, get to work, dude. No. I didn't say by himself.
But yeah, imagine how big a hero this person or organization or company would be if they funded this. Oh, hey.
Did Gothic Maid ever actually come out?
It did. I know it did. I know the theatrical release did. I just didn't see it.
There was absolutely zero fanfare.
What?
Gothic Maid.
Oh yeah, it came out in Japan. It's still running in Japan.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just there's no release for it.
No, but what I'm saying is I have heard absolutely zilch about that, which should tell you something because I was actually interested in it.
I did hear someone on the Mecha board on 4chan that saw it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that good.
Guy. Ouch.
What I heard.
Ooh. That's a flop that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I'm saying is, imagine if She's Lost Control Media decided, okay, we're gonna invest in JC staff and help them improve their conditions, help them hire more people, and do that, and documented that. And like I went over the JC staff with a camera and showed all the stuff we're doing to do that. Imagine how much of a hero we'd all be if that kind of cash infusion happened.
See, but again, that almost seems a little bit like what I was saying earlier about the Western companies investing in certain Japanese studios in the 80s and 90s.
But it's different because that's to get something made. I'm saying invest with this long term, just long term. One for the pure social capital it'll give your company, and two because that money is going to eventually come back when that studio is able to make more stuff for that stuff and pay.
But see, when did the guy at the tippy top of that company just take all the majority of that money and like not give?
See, this is where you could actually get them in trouble, though.
This is why I'm saying it's legitimate venture capital, because if he doesn't, then he's in a galactic world of legal trouble if he doesn't give you that money back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. No smart person doesn't have it set up to where, I mean, that kind of shit probably has happened too much in the background for people to ever let it happen again.
Well, no business person worth their salt, no business person who makes enough money to do this kind of thing
is going to
gets into like this kind of deal without lawyers, without a squadron of lawyers. So there's basically no way that the person at the top of the studio is just going to take all the money, because that's bad. That would get them in a lot of trouble. I'd probably get them fired and put in jail. And it's a slow burn, but at the same time, it's like there's the social capital that comes with that from the anime community, because this is well known how bad the conditions are in some of these studios, and the money's going to come back eventually, and in a big way, because the anime community over here is growing fast.
I mean, I understand you want to create somewhat of a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
Basically a feedback loop in a positive way.
where a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm gonna give you money. My company's gonna give JC staff money. They're gonna improve their conditions, and it's gonna spiral upward like that. Unless JC staff just makes bad decisions. And to be fair,
totally
that's a risk you. Yeah, that's a risk you take with venture capital.
That's the risk element. I mean, there's no guarantee it's going to be good.
Yeah, by the way, if I had my own passion project that I wanted to invest in, I want to choose JC Staff. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I'm using JC Staff as an example because it's well known that they're the mid-level, and whether the reputation is deserved or not, they're often said, "Oh, the mid-level anime studio."
Mm.
So I only use JC Staff as an example because people shit on them all the time.
Mm.
But it's like, I'll invest in Studio Feel, or I'll invest in Studio Bones, or whatever studio you pick, any mid-level studio you pick. I just pick JC Staff because they're so often shit on that there's got to be something going on. But what I'm saying is, hey, invest in the company, it'll eventually come back to us, and it'll improve the conditions all over the industry. Because if one person invests in JC Staff and it's seen as successful and JC Staff's making more money, other companies are going to start looking at other
and scratching their chin.
They're still going to be looking at that, and especially if that kind of thing's documented for the rest of the fandom, and other companies go into that and be like, my stuff is growing. We know this company stands to make a whole lot of money from this deal. Maybe I should invest in AIC.
Yeah, or whatever their favorite or one that tickles their fancy the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the main thing is this sort of thing, I think, would be best used for worker conditions, to be completely honest.
By the way,
and that's the only thing I want it to be used for.
I didn't want to bring them up, but another interesting point of contention is like Studio Ghibli, where that studio is not designed to train people for the. Which is, it's like how anytime. Yeah, well, notice how anytime, Miyazaki announces his retirement, then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be making," because
that guy's gonna be animating until he dies.
We'll put it this way: he's retired more times than Kiss.
And this is it's sad to me to say this because I don't want to wish this on anyone, but he's probably going to die working on something.
Yeah, well, I think probably his thinking deep down is that nobody is worthy enough to make, whatever.
I think he probably more than anything else has the probably that basic old concept of if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Well,
he's like, nobody can replace me. And to be perfectly fair, nobody can really replace Miyazaki as far as what he makes goes. So he's probably gonna die working on something, which is sad, but that's the way he works. And if he wants to work that way, then the rest of us benefit from having their. Yeah, number one, what are we going to stop him? And number two, the rest of us benefit from having our works, which is sad that he's going to die doing that, but he makes good movies.
There you go.
But since we're talking about infusion of Western money in this, let's talk now about the Western side of things.
Sure. Now, this obviously works entirely different because we have more direct input into this in comparison, because there's no language barrier.
Yep.
And we'll put it this way. Some of us actually live close enough to go to one of these studios without, I got friends that live in Houston. You know what I mean? Literally, they're in walking distance to the dubbing studios and shit. They even see some of these people walking around sometimes.
Hello, Sentai? Yeah. Do you make anime? No.
Please tell me somebody didn't ask them that.
I don't know. I've heard stories about people who probably think that
ouch.
Probably really young people.
Yeah, it's people
I
who don't really know anything about the Western.
Because imagine
about
the
anime in
head
general.
scratching.
Funimation. This is where they make DBZ.
Yeah, just imagine the head
I'm
scratching
6 years
kind of.
old.
No. See, what would be scary about that is if they were 26 years old and they thought that. Anyway, over here. Okay, well, obviously, working conditions are not quite the same problem there.
Right. And to be fair, they're
as
doing different things over here than they're doing over
right.
there.
They're not really involved in the creative part of it so much.
Right.
They're what you would call a middleman.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
They
straight
translate
up.
it.
They are the record company to the musician.
Yeah, they translate it. They slap a dub track over it. They press new discs and send it out.
Yeah. Although
Which is an oversimplification, but that's what they do.
Let's be fair. They also usually use different artwork and things like that.
Right.
They don't always just slap the same Japanese art on there or anything.
Might be a licensing issue.
Could be, yeah. But the point is there is a little more to it than that. But basically,
and they also market it over here, and they're responsible for putting
Right.
it on
and fucking things
on
up.
streaming services. Responsible for putting their political ideology in the dub. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be right back. 1 sec.
Roger that.
I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying is there's it's not so many problems going on with the in at least not in the sense that we have people dying,
Yeah.
but there are some problems going on with the Western part of the anime industry.
Oh, for sure. To say there isn't is to basically have your head in the sand. I mean, where do we even start here? Well, I guess we can start with the elephant in the room, which is having some of these people that work at these companies basically trying to interject their personal hangups and shit onto the consumer.
Exactly.
In a way that's ham-fisted and generally like, what the fuck are you doing?
In a way that's highly inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're one of those robocalls trying to get me to vote for Hillary or some shit, you know. Knock that shit off. There's no point in that.
And to a certain extent, I feel like, correct me if I'm off base, but I feel like some of these companies are getting big heads about it. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like kind of like, oh, we're too big. You said something interesting earlier about them holding your anime hostage.
Holding your anime ransom.
Yeah, and I totally understand what you mean by that, because it's like it's like again, pardon the crude analogy, but it's almost like a drug dealer that he's got your fix, but he's holding it withholding it from you until you kneel. Which
but yeah, it
opens up a whole nother political thing, but no,
yeah,
but it's like it's dangling the carrot. It's
dangling the carrot,
but it's like it's Pavlovian in the sense that I didn't hit the bell, you know, kind of thing.
The whole thing is they get this notion. They kind of have this notion that it's super important that, or more so like they get into it like they kind of get into to a certain level, like kind of acting like they made the anime, like halfway there.
Well, another thing, you know, another thing this whole thing reminds me of, it almost reminds me when you had those proselytizing people that went to like Africa with Bibles.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That went to like various places in Africa, loaded down with like Bibles and stuff, and basically you're like, hey, we'll give you food. Here's your Bible. You know, basically expecting you to take that in exchange for the food.
That's not necessarily where I'm going with it. Where I'm going with it is they take Funimation. They're really hyping up this stuff, but it's to a level where they act like there's no other way to get this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they act
Yeah,
like they're the only way to get at this stuff, and they're the only way to. So, and you see this especially sometimes with Crunchyroll. Like they act like they're the only way to support the industry.
Basically, they act like you went into the nightclub and you're not on the list,
Right.
kind of thing. It's like I can put you on the list. I'm not going to until you tell me what I want to hear.
But
It's that sort of shit.
They don't know their role. They don't understand that they're the middleman. Their job is to get this stuff over here, translated the most accurately they can do it, and press it to a disc and put it out.
Would you say more than anything else is they've lost sight that they're a middleman and they think they're the opposite peer over here to there?
I think so.
They've kind of lost sense that, hey, we're the delivery unit part of it, kind of thing. We do all the basic. I don't know. It just strikes me as like we think we're the counterpart over here, and it's like, no, you're actually not.
When they're just the pipeline that anime comes through to get officially released over here. And
basically,
to be fair, with the advent of companies like Aniplex setting up shop over here,
which I think is possibly the route of the future.
I feel I would like that to happen.
I would prefer it. I mean, even if it's more pricey, the bullshit would be cut.
Exactly.
I was thinking the other day about, Pony Canyon USA hasn't released anything in a while. Not even the second season for Euphonium. So I don't think like that particular company is going to be around. That division is going to be around much longer.
Yeah, they're one of those ones
Probably
that you hear about every once in a while, but then it's just like, who are they again?
Well, to be fair, their business model over here was really
they're really.
It feels like to me that they saw what Aniplex did and say, "Hey, let's do that," but didn't actually really see what Aniplex did. Step one: have things people actually want to buy. Sell that at $100 something instead of, "Hey, we've got."
But hey, we can all rejoice in the fact that Harmony Gold is finally loosening their grip on Macross.
Well, yeah, that's still 4 years out, so it's calm down. But I'm saying, Pony Can's like, we have Denki Gai no Honya-san, something dollars for that, right? Or however much it was.
The two biggest properties that they had was Sound Euphonium and Yuki Yuna.
Okay, so that's 2 shows, and how many people are going to spend $100 something on releases for that?
Not a lot, no.
What does Aniplex have? Bakemonogatari,
Gurren Lagann now.
Yeah, which people are bitching
Fullmetal
about
Alchemist
that, by the way.
now. So step one, actually have some shit people will pay money for.
Kill Up Kill.
Will pay that kind of money for.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all that stuff's under A1 when Pony Canyon was still putzing around with Denki Gai no Honya-san, trying to release that for an exorbitant amount of money over here. And I only said it's exorbitant because people aren't going to buy that show for that price. It's just not purely not going to happen. So what really needs to happen is not so much more people do the Aniplex thing. It's more people understand what the Aniplex thing is and then do the Aniplex thing.
Yeah. Wow. All these shows and like I'm looking at their list of what they've released. And again, this is stuff from a few years ago. Nothing. I don't think anything was like recent. So
well, let's go back for a minute to Aniplex for a second. I mean, you have something like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Recently, Aromanga Sensei.
Yeah.
They'd have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at here? Fate Grand Order.
Yeah. Notice how all these titles
Erased.
are super popular. Erase. Notice how all these titles are super fucking popular.
Yeah.
People actually
Sayakano.
want people actually want these shows as opposed to Pony Canyon's putzing around with, except for Yuki Yuna and Sound Euphonium.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I get your point. Hell, even that
Which hurts all of us because then all the other super popular shows that aren't under Aniplex get released by companies like Sentai Filmworks and Funimation. And Sentai's been doing good, but basically every company other than Funimation has been doing okay.
Yeah. One last other thing, not so much relevant now, but it was a couple years ago. But Vocaloids in Los Angeles, even.
Oh.
That was another thing. They actually have a Blu-ray of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Of that show that happened a couple years ago at AX.
Yeah.
I actually had friends who saw that.
The last Aniplex.
So what I'm saying is if we want to do this thing where more Japanese companies are coming over here, they need to realize what they're doing. And to be perfectly honest, if that does happen, a lot of them might end up charging around where Sentai or Funimation charge. Maybe a bit more expensive, but they might end up charging that much because that's just how much the market will bear for any given mid-level show. That, like, nobody, as much as I love the show, nobody's gonna pay $100-something for Amagami SS.
Well, again, as long as they learned the lesson from what's that? Bandai, the Bandai Oniamis.
Oh well,
yeah, Bandai Visual.
Bandai Visual, and as well as Bandai Entertainment.
All
those lessons have.
Yeah, but Bandai Entertainment was a different thing from Bandai Visual.
I get you. I'm saying, learn the lessons from those as well. But what I'm saying is, those lessons have been learned a long time ago. The new lesson that needs to be learned now is one, how to do this business and do right by your fans with respect to the existing companies, and two, how to enter this market in a way that'll be beneficial to your business and not end up like Pony Canyon with respect to a Japanese company that has inclinations toward entering this market in a more legitimate way than paying Funimation to English.
Okay, so we kind of recover in that. How about another problem, which is reining in the stupid shit that we've seen here lately. And what I mean by that is some of these people, I don't know how you would punish them besides firing them.
Firing them.
Okay, there you go. Okay, because it's one of those things like maybe they should be given a warning, and if they do it again. But the thing is they have to know
they did it 3 times.
Yeah, the thing is,
at least the people we're talking about, they've done it 3 times, and anyone who does that again should be fired immediately. Well, here's the thing: what warning? How would we warn this? Like, how would we warn these
not only
people?
that, but it's not like you don't.
Because they know what they did.
Well, it's not only that,
the
but
shit isn't an accident.
Hey, hang on. It's not even like yeah, I mean, they're putting this product out. It's not like they don't know they did this. I mean, you know what I mean? Unless they literally don't actually review their products in any meaningful way. Which, wow. You know what I mean?
Just fire them outright. They know what they did.
Yeah, they did. And the only thing I can think of is they are, at very least, either apathetic or just flat out thought it was funny or agree with it.
Which is why I personally am not buying anything from Funimation again. And I
No.
I also told them in response to that bleeding heart message that they put out on Twitter, hey, understand that I actually need to find what I said, because I don't want to do injustice to myself by misquoting myself. Listen, you have a problem that needs to be addressed, and it's been radio silence the entire time. What are we doing? Quote, if you're striving to do better, then it's time to address your localization script edits. It's been radio silence since day one. What gives?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of those things. It's one of those things where if there continues to be silence, you're going to see more and more people basically give you the finger. Because people are just gonna be like, you don't give a shit about us. Well, fine, we don't give a shit about you.
Exactly.
And the thing is,
100% willing to see Funimation fall into the ground over this if they don't do anything about it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't have any investment in Funimation.
No.
All they do is translate, dub, press discs. And if they can't do that in a way that's satisfactory to me, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we know these people. The reason they largely get away with stuff like this is because the higher ups pretty much have the same views they do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're basically.
So what it comes down to is you have to hurt the company.
Well, yeah,
you have to hurt their bottom line, because
the thing is they act like we need them, and we don't.
Yep. We don't. Sorry.
You do need us, though.
Exactly.
Of course you do.
The other way around. Don't
yeah.
bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, I mean, we pull the money. What are you doing? It's not like we don't have other avenues.
Exactly.
You know. Outside of there being other licensing companies, there's also the import option. There's the yo-ho-ho pirating option, which, by the way, I guarantee shoots up like a rocket at this point.
Over this, I guarantee you. Because it's like, you're not going to tell me that the people who are concerned about this don't know other means
of acquiring what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this sort of extends to other companies. And what it comes down to is I'm concerned. We're starting to see companies like Crunchyroll sitting on some of these production committees, which means they have the power to dictate certain creative aspects of anime, and that concerns me.
Yeah, basically they want to nix problematic elements.
It not necessarily. Well, and I'm not saying they're doing that, but I'm saying they have the power to do that, and that's not comfortable to me.
Well, no, because it's interference.
The only involvement I want of Western companies is money.
Yeah.
Hey,
I gotcha.
Hey, I like this project, or I like this studio. Here's some money. Continue doing what you've been doing with it. Why I'm concerned with companies like Crunchyroll sitting on production committees, because then they're in control. They're not just giving money; they're dictating things, and that concerns me. That's probably how Crunchyroll got their mascot in Kemono Friends, because they were on the production committee for that.
Mm-hmm. Which there's been some speculation that they were somewhat involved with some of this too.
I've seen the image you're talking about. I
don't know how true it is.
I have reason to believe it's fake.
Okay.
But basically, the person who I first saw it from retracted it and posted it up later saying it's been confirmed fake, so I have reason to believe it's fake. But
okay. Fair enough.
They had the power to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That they had the power to vote that they could have, if they wanted to, voted this person off of the team.
I gotcha. So All right. So before we wrap things up, are we planning on reading this thing or no?
Which thing? The email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of needs to know. Otherwise, we're just closing down.
Oh yeah, no
So,
third
yes,
segment anymore.
We'll read the email.
Okay.
Okay.
Right now?
Yeah, because it's
Does it tie in somehow?
no, it doesn't tie into anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure it wasn't actually intended for us, and you'll see when I read it. Mail time. Actually, do I have this? Yes, I do. Mail time.
Incoming message.
Hello from Russia. My name
Okay.
is in Cyrillic, so I don't know what it says. Dear friends, I wish you a pleasant day. When in the last spring my family and I traveled to the Netherlands, we accidentally stumbled upon your wonderful radio station. Perfect playlist, excellent DJs, exciting shows. We listened to your ether literally without ceasing. Thank you very much for your work. Now we have returned home to Russia from time to time. We include your broadcast via the internet, and the wonderful emotions that we experience traveling through your country are again arising in our souls. Will it not be difficult for you to send my little children, names omitted, small souvenirs for the memory of your wonderful radio stations, and maybe the autographs of your wonderful DJs? We'll be very grateful to you. Thank you very much in advance.
This is clearly aimed at somebody else.
I actually did some research. It turns out NTR is the Netherlands public broadcasting station.
Okay. That's funny. Yeah, that's who it was aimed at, not fucking us.
So,
Oh.
I was gonna say that doesn't make any sense. What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah. I wish we were that big.
this poor Russian gentleman sent a email to ntrradio@gmail.com, not knowing that they were sending it to a fucking anime podcast.
Thanks
So
anyway.
I thought that was hilarious when I saw that in the mailbox, and figured it'd be good to read out on the show, just purely for laughs.
Pleased to be meeting you, NTR Radio. I am from former Soviet Black Russia. Yes, KGB. Okay, now that I've offended actual Russians,
Yeah, exactly.
I apologize.
In any case, that's the show. The email address is, as mentioned, ntrradio@gmail.com. Is ntrradio.net. You can check out VZ stuff at VZMK2, moemekigatai.wordpress.com. You can also check out the Bakugaijin show and Otaku Midnight, because both of those are really good. Also check out iyashike.moe. I just posted up an article not too long ago there. Also posted it to Medium on why fan service is important. So you can read that at iyashike.moe.
Yeah, I read that. That was really good.
You can get at me on Twitter at TAnubis, VZ on Twitter at VCMK2, KGods on Twitter at classic_KGods, and the show on Twitter at NTR_radio. I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
I'm KGods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though we invest in JC's staff every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.
Nice.